Welcome to the Value Make Art Post. My name is Ryan Purvis. I'm your host, supported by Heather Bicknell. As we meet with the people that make the digital workspace work, it's about the technology, it's about improving people's work experience and finding the return on value.
My name is Richard Blank. I'm the proud CEO of Costa Rica's call center and a very big fan of your work. So I'm very happy to be a repeat guest.
Oh, thanks for coming back. The pinball machines.
I still do have pinball machines. In fact, I've increased my collection. My favorite decade is the 1970s. So another friend of mine, Martin, up in Tamarindo, he was getting a lot of older machines. So I'd switch out some of my newer ones like a Jurassic Park and a Judge Dredd. And he was hooking me up with some old schools like Pinball and Hot Tip. So anyway, my friend, I brought them all home. I got all the machines in my man cave and I'm living a 13-year-old dream, just having your own arcade.
Fantastic. So you're saying that you've become a work from home business now?
It was forced upon me. And sometimes the best changes are when your dad throws you in the deep end of the pool and says, swim. You got to do something. But it wasn't like cold turkey. I saw the gradual, and the gradual was COVID. Fortunately, my company was able to survive through VPNs and work from homes, just the people weren't used to it yet. Like working from home compared to going to the gym. It's a lot of discipline and structure, really. And you don't have your good buddy Ryan sitting next to you, motivating you and you picking you up on a tough day. But now the labor pool prefers working from home. And I understand their arguments, the distance, the money, the time. But I'm old school. I like to see people. I like to share that sort of energy, break bread, hit the arcade, or just be there for the moment when you close the deal. And so that got taken away. I tell you what, there are some beautiful adjustments. We're putting everything in the cloud. I'll still have a backup server room, but smaller, but not as dependable. It's the kind of thing where if there was a surge in electricity or something happened with the dialer server configuration, it was a nightmare. And supposedly some of these companies are so secure and they have such incredible support. To me, it makes sense because I was just looking at the amount of downtime, credit, and frustration I had to do. We're thinking about what we can do with the building because it's in a beautiful location by the hospitals and universities. A lot of people are kicking tires and asking questions. And sometimes there's a little birdie in your ear whistling that song and saying, Ryan and Richard, maybe it's time for another stage of life.
Yeah, good. And have you kept the same people that you have, or have you found that you've got more people now because you're not located in one area?
That's a wonderful question. In fact, I prefer people that are from the countryside because I feel they're more God-fearing and family-oriented. But we also have a situation in regards to their electricity and internet stability. So one of the selling points for me was my backup generator, multiple internet lines, and immediate IT support. And so some of these things need to have patience on or a backup plan. But yes, it has opened it up. And I also encourage bringing in people that have zero call center experience, maybe their first job. Ryan, if you learn English, a second language, that shows amazing cognitive skills. You're coming to the plate with muscles. I just got to teach you how to punch. And I can mold you. You have no bad habits. You're like a squire to a knight. And so I'm understanding this next generation, not like I'm an old man telling tales by the fireside. I believe you and I have certain soft skills and really practical, realistic advice that we can pay it forward to this next generation where they just don't say, okay, boomer or whatever, grandpa. They're like, wait a second, this thing actually does make sense. And I'm able to connect that way. I can anchor that way. I play Pac-Man and pinball, so I'm way off. But I can connect through communication and sharing and caring. And so these are the sort of things, thankfully for me, I've had fidelity and people stay with me for longer periods of time than normal.
And how have you found your interactions with training? Do you find it different or is it shorter?
You can see things when it's live. It's almost like if you look, you can see brush strokes of a painting. And so when I'm with somebody, they can go through 9 out of 10 motions. But it's that one motion I'm going to catch. And that I think that's the thing that might not make or break the person, but it will definitely take them to another level. And also it allows me to give positive reinforcement that seems more sincere. Because if they really see me telling you to put 3 or 4 more reps when you're hitting the flat bench, I'm there with you. You can
Mm.
tell I'm making you feel better. I'm not just giving you happy words. And so I'm going to say it again. My generation from the 70s and 80s, Generation X, we grew up from great teachers, great coaches, best friends. And this
Yeah.
virtual thing and AI, it's convenient, it's gathering. But the real human element is the empathy, that electromagnetic transfer of energy between people. I'm not trying to sound metaphysical or psychological, but I tell you what, man, a nice high five with a buddy or someone
Mm.
being there when you look right and they're like, you're the man. I heard that phone call. Good for you for closing the deal with Ryan. That is a gift that will pay off years from now.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. I found I work from home now for a long time, and you do get lonely. People don't talk often about how lonely you get. And I agree, you want those stories. You want those stories of working late nights at the office, sleeping underneath your desk.
That shows to me as a business owner, sorry to interject there. I've had it a few times, but that's a mismanagement of time. And you should never brag about staying Saturday night late. If you're closing for a 50-seat account next week and you're setting up the computers, that's my man. But if you're there Saturday night to catch up because you're behind, then shame on you. You should be there for the planning of the Rocky fight. You know what I mean? Putting in the extra rounds kind of guy.
So my point more was the camaraderie of being in a tough situation and working through it. So tell me more what's going on.
What is going on? Costa Rica has 2 seasons, wet and dry. It's amazing, right? The temper's still beautiful. So I have to decide, do I want to put the top up or down in the convertible? But it's so lush here. It's beautiful when the rain comes. And I'm not trying to sound poetic, but you're walking around in paradise if you happen to leave San Jose and drive into the rainforest. It's incredible. And what it does, Ryan, my good friend, it really allows you to decompress. And one of the greatest things is nature. When you played with your friends, had your shoes off, running through grass. And so if any way I can put that phone away and just reconnect with the sights and the sounds and the smells of paradise, you don't need a psychiatrist and I don't need fast food. You can do this naturally. It's really a recharging of your batteries and a resetting. And I tell you what, my man, when you are by yourself for, let's say, minimum 20 minutes, let's say about an hour, you take a really nice long walk, it really becomes clear. And you can really start thinking of the things you couldn't do when you were in the circle, in the rush. This is usually what happens. Man, the other day when I spoke to Ryan, I might have raised my voice or I didn't let him speak. And that's the time with your moment of clarity, you have your priorities. And that's when you make the call to your buddy and go, Ryan, I hope you forgive me for overextending. Hey, man, I just wanted to call because I love you. And I just want to make sure you're doing great. That's why Einstein got his best ideas on the train ride home. I like that sort of stuff. When I'm hitting the gym or if I'm washing the car on a Sunday or my pinball marathons, if I can separate from everything else because I know my center, the things I uncover, and especially the things I put to bed. The worst thing you ever want, Ryan, is to have that weight because that weight will mess you up. You got to remove that weight to rise. And so I've tried to, through maturity, owning a company, life experience and relationships like you and I have, you realize what makes you a better man. And a lot of it is acknowledging someone's success. You today, me tomorrow. It's all good as long as I'm there for you and to keep putting wind in your sails. And I've seen that even without any sort of finance in return. Just a smile or someone, you make their day, or you might get extra pickles on your sandwich if you tell Judy that she makes the best sandwiches in all of San Jose. Don't kid yourself. You always get extra cheese. Just letting you know there's a certain way to make life a lot brighter and add value
Yeah,
to
exactly.
your life.
Exactly. So you mentioned AI. Obviously, we can't have a conversation nowadays without talking about AI. How is that going to change what you do?
People resisting change from the steam engine to that buggy whip. And there are a lot of there's a lot of entry level and easily replaceable employees that feel threatened. But let me put it this way. What would you rather do, Ryan? Would you rather go into the bank and wait to get your $100 or go to the ATM and have it within a minute while your buddy's waiting for you in the car? It's that way. And so I understand the shift. And there will always be specific departments that will retain clients, upsell, get referrals, or even exit interview if someone's leaving. So someone like you and I will always press zero, especially if you're getting my hard-earned dollar. But I tell you what, the majority of the complaints people have is the latency on how long it takes someone to get back in touch with them with omni-channel non-voice support like texting and emails and chat. It's convenient, but it's not immediate. Then you go to the second level. They have the IVRs, the integrated voice response. Great.
Right.
Yeah, they always get my airline wrong. It's always San Jose, California, not Costa Rica. Come on, man. You guys haven't gotten it right yet. So I say, please, can I speak to someone before you book a wrong flight? I don't like to do things online. If I'm taking a trip, I want the excitement of someone speaking with me. And there's something called the uncanny valley. This really brilliant Japanese scientist in the 70s said, listen, the more that machines get like humans, there will be a point where it gets very uncomfortable where it drops into that valley. Just like in Star Wars, more people like 2D than C3. And the uncanny valley, they're really making the gestures. But here's the thing, the timing is still off. And the AI can never hug you or tell you what it's like to lose a puppy that runs away, or to say happy birthday because they know what it's like. And it's one of those things where I'm accepting it. It's beautiful for gathering, and there's no fatigue, there's no error, there's no calling in sick. It could be 24/7. So now you have a answering service that you don't have to pay premium for with people half awake writing bad note. As long as this thing gets crisp and clean and takes it to the 10-yard line, I can take that ball into the end zone.
Yeah.
And if you have skills and if you're marketable, companies will still hire you. But if you're the kind of person that's doing the maximum of minimum and just that, maybe I may want a stronger foundation. It might be better for my company and for my clients and for their experience, while always having the zero or to speak to somebody, but allowing us once again to save 45 minutes of your time by drop down boxing or answering a question for me so it auto populates so you don't have to repeat it. And these are just certain metrics that you can reduce talk time and have larger conversion ratios.
Yeah, I was listening to something this morning about the sort of agentic approach, having these sort of 6 agents that live in your business, one of which would be customer support, and just things like writing that email quickly and delivering it for the 80% customer, but then having your customer support people or salespeople doing more with the customer. Now they have more time to build a relationship, chat to them, but the AI is just doing the basic stuff increasingly as it learns what to do and in a professional, good toned way. I think it's augmented work as opposed to replacement work, I guess is my feeling still. But then you have more time for your walks in nature because you're not always behind. I think that's where it has to get to, that you could do your thing while you're having your walk in nature. You could use your voice to tell the AIs what you need done. I think about project management or task management, call this person, pay this bill while you're walking and talking. And then you are not stressing about getting back to your desk to do the payments.
You're always going to stress anyway.
You're stressing in different things.
But the AI that allows you to write books or calling scripts, and I got you on that. It's like the Rube Goldberg experiments. It takes you 99 times to hit the one time where it actually does non-electrical machine work. There's nothing better than writing a wonderful composition, creating that rhetoric. AI might assist me in writer's block, put me in the right direction, or even be the ship, but I have to do something as a part of it.
Yeah.
So I got to have that magic dust in me to be able to connect with that person, because if literally it's just a copy and I'm claiming it's my own, it's all right for a little bit, but it will just reduce any sort of connection. Everyone will just expect a microwave meal compared to something that's not homemade by grandma, which was 10 times better.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the problem we create for ourselves is just a volume of things to get done.
That is so true.
We need to, and I think I was making a joke this morning about it. I need an agent for my agents because there's too much stuff going on, and I just need something summarized. I need to know what I need to make decisions on. I need to know what I need to park for another day. Where AI could go in a negative way, like deep fakes and that sort of stuff, and that is something to be very cautious about.
It already has. You and I, not saying we have enemies, but there's always haters out there. And so running a large company and being a guest in Costa Rica, I've had to unfortunately let some people go. Naturally, they go on social media in certain areas and they say, Costa Rica call center sucks. I'm like, nice broad stroke, sucks. I love it. It's so 70s. I'll take it. But it's okay. Do you know why?
You want to tell me?
Because I don't have a heavy heart. As a business owner, for any advice to entrepreneurs, just look at it like this. There are labor laws here. If the kid's breaking the labor laws, got to let him go. Don't blame me for you showing up late every day. It's not important. If you did everything with honorable intentions and good faith, never gave them the walk of shame or publicly embarrassed them, then you can live with yourself. You were a coach that was there for them. You just can't hit the ball and drag Johnny. A lot of people failed themselves. They were immature. They didn't realize the sort of ethical and moral responsibility is when you give someone your word, especially in a call center when inbound calls are coming, we need you. I do compete. I'm also realistic. Let's call it as it is. I'm in an industry with a very large attrition rate and burnout because most people have negative experiences with telemarketers, even though I see it as a beautiful art of speech. But I do compete with Amazon, HP, Intel, and Oracle for the labor pool. They might have deeper pockets, more flexible schedules, different locations. Your girlfriend might work there. But it's never a forced attrition. I don't just fire people. Sometimes through the 3 strikes rule and legally, or my client saying, listen, Billy's just not coming to work. What can you do? And so naturally they'll blame me. And that's okay because I have people that know me well enough in 15 years to speak for me, not the kid that was with me for 9 days. He was late the 3 days he had to work, and he knows my business and he knows me. He calls me Robert, Richard. I'm like, oh, you don't even know me. And I don't take it personal. I just look in their eyes and realize what they said to me the first time I met them. Oh, the mountains they were going to climb, the strongest of soldier. And then every day they'd show up late. That's all you need to do. Come on, Ryan, feel guilty.
Yeah. Less is more. So what have you found now that you've moved everything to the cloud? Firstly, have you found that there's a cost save?
In the long, immediate cost and adjustments, fine. The downtime where I've had to credit the client, pay the agent, and lose my pride. Got the IT guys scrambling and sometimes call in Cisco experts. I'm a 150 seat center. I'm not these 10,000 center powerhouses. And it's like my backup generator. That thing is amazing for me because I am in a very important grid in Costa Rica by the public hospitals and universities, but things do happen naturally. And knowing that you can have your lights on and working, not only was that great for my clients, but a lot of my neighbors that needed to send an email or to do something, of course they can come in. It's like the piggy with the brick house. I'm not getting blown down. And so I love with my neighbors extending anything that I could to assist them when things happened. And so they would watch my back as well, which is very nice. You know, what's interesting about Costa Rica? It's like the 1960s. It's like going back in time where people know each other's neighbors. People walk hand in hand, kisses on the cheek. And so when you walk outside, you're like waving at everybody like the Cleavers. There's nothing like walking down the sidewalk and you know everyone. You feel like the champ.
What are you going to do with your building now? It sounds like you got plans.
The plans are for me. Here's the thing. A lot of buildings in Costa Rica are large and empty, but they're not updated. They don't have the internet in there, the electricity, they're moldy. My building was like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It's 3 floors. It's Art Deco. It's on a corner right in front of a gas station.
Actually, it'd be good to see a photo.
I'll send you one. But if you go Costa Rica's call center, go under images. I made a 1920 Art Deco building with neon lights and marquees, like the old school style. Why not? It's a beautiful theater of speech, and it's really charming looking at an area called Aranjuez, which has a lot of the older mansions and buildings. It's where all the doctors live by the hospital, and now it's converted into bars and restaurants. But what a fun area to be, kind of like Manayunk in Philadelphia. But the government and the schools are kicking tires and asking questions. Why? It's right by the hospital and universities. Secondly, it's wired out for 150 people, let alone separated offices. It's ready to go. Got switches on every floor, backup generator, elevator. What more do you want? And
awesome.
so for me, I always believe the easiest thing is plug and play. No one wants to have to invest. No one wants to. And here's the thing about the cloud you were asking. I got a huge server room. I may not need that anymore. And so let's say the insurance companies, they would love to have this updated equipment that they can start using for their students, for their baby. Why not? It's there for you, man. And it's part of the rent if you want. And so these are the sort of things that I have to think about because, as I say, everyone's leaving the center. If I can send everybody home and continue my business, rent out this huge building, and then have a satellite office, which is a tenth of the size, enough for training, maybe a dozen stations, a couple offices, and of course, room for a pinball machine and arcade machine. That's more than enough to onboard and then send them home.
And quite an amazing, what would you call it, sculpture on the front there with a man holding the sun. Yeah, it's beautiful.
But he's holding the sun. We found a poster from like the 1920s, and I combined two different posters that I found that were Art Deco and had this local artist do it for me. And I like to have those jade colored bay windows so it reflects and you can see the volcanoes in the cloud. It's not everybody's taste, but I always loved Art Deco. It was powerful for me. And neon lights, make them bright. I wouldn't do it now. I'd do LED, but I did neon. Why not?
I love your doors as well. They're also stunning with the sort of curving frames.
If you ever have the chance once in your life to build a castle, this industry is very lucrative. I had my building. Things were doing well. It was a honeymoon stage. If I tried this in the United States, it would have been 3 times the cost. And when I'm getting certain labor here for $3 an hour to do the gray, you can build buildings for a fraction of the cost. There are certain things that are expensive, but I tell you what, I also learned something else, my friend. If I personally went to these stores and asked for something, it would be $1. But if I had a local contact and go ask for it, it'd probably be 60 cents. And so I would always get the gringo charge. Yeah. It's business. Listen, business is business. But then again, I'm old school like that. I'm giving you a ton of money and why don't we have a nice relationship? But whatever, if I need to have a face man to go out there and represent me, I have no problem doing that at all. I had to learn that the hard way, unfortunately, but that was another way that I could save money. But then let me also mention, Ryan, that this did not happen overnight. In 2008, what I did was I was renting a turnkey station at a blended center. I could scale accordingly and did that for 2.5 years. When I had the clients in the capital, I rented space and I built out the server room slowly, but I did it in a row by buying secondhand Dells. Because when you're paying 80% import tax, why do I need it new? And I'm also not in a free trade zone, so I didn't have those tax benefits. I'm a starting company. I'm not buying used underwear, I'm buying used Dell computer. And I buy used pinball machines, so everyone needs to calm down. I did that for 6.5 years. And then once again, had the capital, server room, bought a building that was from 1958. And it was abandoned for about 8 years. It was like it used to be shops in a hostel. And so I bought it off of this family that just old money or whatever. And we just built it out. But guess what I saved? 15 original brick walls from 1958. So I still got them. It was called Super La Cuadra, Super of the Corner. So it was like the first supermarket in that area of town. And I had pictures, which is interesting, of old school cars from the 50s driving by the lot before they even started building when it was just dirt. So it's cool.
I'm just looking at your limousine. Also quite a nice read. Is that something you've redone?
Something I had, yes. Do you remember the show Remington Steele from the 1980s?
Yeah.
Remington Steele had a limousine. I had to have one too. And so there was a guy in Berlin that was selling this 1984 300D Lang, and he was selling it for about $4,000. And I went there and it smelled like cat piss. There was like little army men stickered on the dash. It was a mess, but she was beautiful. And so I took her into a body. Did the body work. We bought old school hubcap, white wall tires, I did the windows. What's interesting about those cars where there were luxury hotels and embassy limousines that had the flip seats like you did for the old taxis.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
took those flip seats out and I put a custom made bar in with a footrest and the champagne and plugging in for your phone. And then the seats that you had in this 300D, they didn't have good armrests. It was just a straight deal. So then I bought an 85 300D, and I was able to take out those seats in the back that were so puffy with beautiful armrests, and it was like a crimson color. So I replaced the seats and I took all the chrome off. And the funny thing about that 280 was it completely matched certain panels and things to the
Okay,
300D.
yeah.
So I had that as a backup. And what did I do with Daisy? I drove her around the entire country. I changed her from a stick to an automatic. And
Oh,
you'll see if you look at it, all the different places she went to, from the beaches to the mountains to the churches in the small town. But her crowning moment was being in the 2019 carnival in the classic car section of the parade.
I only saw the front page.
Hey, that was touring with her. Do you know how much fun it was? She had cigarette ashtrays in the back.
Oh,
It
wow.
was interesting. And I learned this. People loved taking pictures in front of her. Everyone got rides. And when you would be in certain parts of town, especially bad parts of town, you had to drive through. None of the crackheads, none of the crazies messed with it. They looked at that and they complimented her like you had no idea. So I think she got the pass. But what an interesting investment. And it's not a party limo. It wasn't one of those stretch Cadillacs or Oldsmobiles. It was really for two people, three tops. Of course, I'm picking you up at the airport. I got my boy driving us. You and I are sitting in the back. Amazing. It's so much fun. And so it's part of the experience. It was extremely affordable and I could write it off. So it just made perfect.
Win-win. And the arcade, you got a Last Action Hero pinball machine?
Schwarzenegger, that's a fun machine. Yes, I do. I got terrible reviews.
That's a lot of fun. That and Kindergarten Cop, Kindergarten Cop and Commando were like my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movies growing up before Terminator.
It was when he was Conan the Barbarian.
Yes, of
I
course.
think there was
yes.
like two. Arnold was the man. I love that movie, especially The Wheel of Pains.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't realize there was actually, because as a kid, I thought I was watching the same movie twice, not realizing there was two actually different movies. There was Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer.
With
And for a
Rhys
long time,
Jones.
I thought they were the same movie because you didn't know about when you were a kid. So have you still got the Last Action Hero?
I love the 1970s. My four machines from the 70s is a 70 Camelot, 71 Expressway, 75 Freedom, and a 77 Hot Tip. Why do I love the 70s? Because it was the last decade when they painted the play field. So sometimes you get cracks. Now it's laminates and stickers. I love the side art. I was in love with the marquees. Very open play field. Enough of targets and a few times different sort of things to hit. But it was a much easier game. And I always found that the artwork was incredible. And it's a simpler play. And a lot of those earlier machines would be using bells and xylophones. Plus, the final point, electromechanical. What does that mean? Contacts. Easiest to fix, easiest to clean. Because the machines today, and I'm going to give some very good advice, have CPUs and computer cards and stuff. And so I'm buying Last Action Hero. Okay. It's your 94 game. Now, it does work, but it has issues. And I take off the marquee and behind it, I'm looking at 5 different CPUs for the lights, for the sound, for the machine. These things are 30 years old. It's great they're working. I'm proud of you. But we're going to keep having problems. Replace them. Replace all of them. Now your machine's working 100%. The only thing that you need to fix are sometimes a loose cable or a light bulb. And so when I'm picking up these classic, beautiful antique machine, and I go there, as long as and I know enough, I've been enough with these electricians and experts to see that when I can lift the playfield and see underneath, is there corrosion or they're trying to MacGyver it? But if these are just very old parts and they're telling me that it's not working. I know why it's not working. There's a couple of things here that need to be replaced. And so naturally you buy a machine for $250, put, let's just say about $750 in for a total of $1,000. You have a last action hero, which is worth about $5,500. Right. And so if you're thinking import tax and transportation, now you're about 6.5 if I wanted to sell it. And so you get these things for next to nothing. And everyone loves them. And if you take care of them, they'll last. You just don't want to be cool, try to tilt them and hit them. To be honest with you, a real pinball player, there's two ways to do it. There are some serious competitors that will tilt it if you're paying for big money. But if you're just a novice player and you're a guest on someone's machine, you shouldn't do that. But yes, my friend, I collect that. And I also collect antique jukeboxes here because they're just giving them away. Bars are out of business and arcades are shutting down. So you go on the Facebook or Mercado Libre, you might have to drive a couple hours, but they want you to take them and you want to give them a good home.
Well, those jukeboxes using record or CDs?
When you get them, they're full of 45s. And if you need to fix the motor, it could be expensive and the parts are sometimes tough to get, but they do work. You can fix them. But here's the good thing. I can put MP3 and Bluetooth. So then you have unlimited music at the best quality. The needles are fine. And some people love the vinyl sound. I'm cool with that too. But I hate to say this. Out of the 6 jukeboxes that I bought down here, I've yet to pull out a 45 that A, I know, or B, I wanted. They're all Central American artists from the 50s, 60s, and 70s that I've never heard of before. There's no In Excess. Can't get Led Zeppelin or Hendrix. None of that.
Fair enough.
Huge problem. But then again, the outside was restored. The keys, the glass, sometimes marquees on the side. My oldest is a 1961 Ricola Regis. And I have a Wurlitzer, a 64 Wurlitzer, and Seaberg. It's a pretty Seaberg. I'm sure you've seen it in classic movies. That's why I like watching classic movies, because I get to see the pinball and the jukeboxes. It's the 1977 Seaberg STD4 Mardi Gras. It's the one that has the rainbows on it.
Oh, yeah.
So she's a very famous one. She's beautiful.
So I'm watching NCIS New Orleans at the moment. So what's next for you this year? What's 2025 looking like?
We've done some interesting things this year, and I hope to produce some more next year. This past year, we produced 2 things. I had this song called Shine Like the Sun with a local group called Igni Faroki. I was able to hire Gary Beers, the bassist of In Excess, play an overlapping bass on this song and make a performance video. So I produced a rock video in the call center with Gary Beers. If you look up Shine Like the Sun, Costa Rica's call center, you'll see it. We had a lot of fun with a lot of the games and employees. And the second thing we did, we produced a rap freestyle breakdancing video. And so I wanted to have somebody rapping about the center and someone doing backspins and windmills, and G Black the best. My boy Jake, who is a local dancer, both employees and good friends. Just one Sunday, we decided to put something together and rap about how cool my call was and give you advice. Both of them are there. It's Costa Rica's call center commercial. You'll see G Black the best and the rap freestyle dancing.
Oh, fantastic. That's great.
So much fun.
And plans for you? Now that you've got more time in the remote working world?
I think I'm going to be learning to cook because I have more time to be in the kitchen. I bought a violin about 6 years ago, so I'm going to see if I can actually sound better than the cat scratching, and maybe spend some more time in the United States with my family. That would be a nice thing.
Anything else you want to share before we close off?
Just once again, I can't thank you enough, Ryan. It's always a pleasure. I enjoy your work. My advice always to business owners and entrepreneurs that are in this, the forced march, is just never be hard on yourself. At the end of the day, be able to look at yourself in the mirror, make sure in the mornings you make your bed, give yourself some sort of foundation of self-respect. Because if you can start that way, a lot of things sometimes fall into place. But I can't thank you enough, buddy. Always a pleasure seeing you, Ryan. Yeah, you too, man.
This is all I got left. And it's funny, I've been doing this carnivore diet and my hair's actually grown.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Listen, I would give my left arm to have that. I would slick it to the right side.
Did you ever watch The Baldy Man? He was a
No.
comedian. I can't remember if he was German or what, but his nickname was the Baldy Man. And he had basically shaved all his head except for this one row of hair that he used to flip over. And we had a guy who was a teacher in our school who had the same thing. It was just one of those unique hairstyles that people go with.
When I shaved and I saw my friends for the first time, they're like, Nosferatu. I'm like, that's not nice. At least call me Mr. Clean.
Good to speak to you.
Take care, buddy.
Keep well.
Bye now.
Good day.
Thank you for listening to our episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Please share it with your friends and colleagues. Help us grow our network. Please also check out our website at www.value.work and our product that's on there. It's something we work really hard on and we hope to benefit you.